Just hours ago, a crowd gathered near the old Braves Stadium in the Summerhill section of downtown as a community welcomed its first major grocery store in decades. This is really a big deal if you know anything about that area. 11 Alive's Brittany Kleinpeter has more on how this area has transformed over the years and how critical this grocery store is for the people who live in that community.
It was really just like a land of nothingness.
Located in the heart of downtown, only blocks from the Georgia State Stadium, sits the community of Summerhill.
When we first moved here, you could see that there was movement and that there was definite energy, but it was basically like a neglected community.
Longtime residents like Nicole and her husband say they have gone without for years.
People were here. It was just that a lot of the infrastructure and those things that make a city were not here.
And that's why both leaders and residents recognize the opening of a Publix grocery store means more than just a supermarket coming to a neighborhood.
Fresh food access is very important to the vitality of communities.
When we moved here, it's definitely a food desert, and as we've gone through the many layers of movement and development within Summerhill, we've seen so much growth, and this is just adding to the growth.
Just to give you an idea of how much this area has transformed over the years, this is what it looked like on Georgia Avenue, right around the corner from where the grocery store now stands 10 years ago. Over the last few years, you can see the dramatic transformation in the area, from murals to new construction to what it looks like now today, with multiple restaurants lining the block.
Look historically of what Summerhill was, and to the community, especially to the African American and the Black community, what it was, just to see Summerhill really coming back and return to its resurgence of who it is and what it was is just a beautiful thing.
Many believe the grocery store, which will include a pharmacy and a Piedmont urgent care, is a welcomed end to what was and the emergence of what Summerhill will now be. Brittany Kleinpeter, 11 Alive News.
Mayor Andre Dickens says his administration has plans to bring grocery stores to other area food deserts as well. He says up next is Campbellton Road, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, and other South Side areas.
Good morning. Today is Thursday. It is June 22nd. The year is 2023. It's a beautiful, wet June day. This is the second day of summer. It's raining. Today it's going to only be 70-something degrees today. 77 is going to be the high, which is fine with me, y'all. Y'all know I'm not going to be like, oh, goody. It can stay like this all summer. Well, I wouldn't mind a couple of hot days. But last summer was such a scorcher, and I had these high electrical bills over here. It was unreal. So here we are in June, which is typically 90-degree weather days, and here we are at 77 degrees with a cloud and rain and cool. Feels like a spring day outside. So I'm not complaining. I'm enjoying this weather. I have all the air conditioners off in this house. I got a fan going up around over here. It's cool. I had the front door open. I like to get up in the morning, open up the windows, and let the air in on days when we don't really have a bug problem out here yet. It's getting weird, but we don't really have too many mosquitoes running around out here. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe because it's the rain or something. But when I get up and open up the doors around here, we don't have a bunch of bugs and flies coming in the house. Strange, because there's not a lot of. I have the doors open. The house has never had. We get a couple of flies occasionally. They wander in, but I had a bird flew in here one time. But most of the time, it's quiet out here, and no bugs, no mosquitoes. Even when I'm outside on the deck, we haven't had a mosquito problem out here. Not sure why. That's interesting. But anyway, today is Thursday, it's June 22nd. So Publix just opened a beautiful grocery store in the Summerhill area. Summerhill is a historic Black neighborhood here in Atlanta that I've always loved. But it was always, Summerhill to me was, over the years, I've always thought it was a beautiful community because it's right downtown. But there was nothing there. No grocery stores, no retail, no restaurants. Now all of a sudden there's a resurgence of retail, grocery stores, new Publix. There are now restaurants there. But for many years, excuse me, there for many years. There was the just parking lots there for the Atlanta Braves team. Massive parking lots, and people would go to the games there and flood the neighborhood with cars, and then haul their ass out of there. In the neighborhood was just. Summerhill has gone through a massive gentrification, the only word I could use. You saw them white folks standing out there waiting for that Publix to open. Y'all think they built that Publix over there for Niggerville? Because Publix groceries are kind of high. So higher than Kroger's. So and black folks over there might be ready to dig deep for them damn groceries. However, it is exciting to see the growth, the change. One thing about me living in Atlanta for the past 30 plus years, I've seen so much change come to the city. I remember when Summerhill was just this area right off the highway, a lot of dilapidated houses, and I remember a developer came in and built these townhomes, and they sold them for like $90,000, $95,000, brand new townhomes. You had to make a certain income. You couldn't make over a certain income. And they sold these townhouses, and you had to stay in them for so many years. They were trying to improve that neighborhood over there. So now, 30 years later, you see a Publix, you see high-end restaurants. They have townhouses over there. It's townhomes going for $500,000 to $1 million. Houses that have topped over $1 million in Summerhill area. Summerhill and Reynoldstown. Reynoldstown prices are outrageous. Both of them are historic black areas. When you look at the inner city, you will see Old Fourth Ward, Edgewood, Reynoldstown, and then Summerhill. Those are 4 historic black neighborhoods. They ain't black no more, especially around here. Especially Old Fourth Ward and Edgewood. That's a wrap. So, and black folks been U-Hauls left a long time ago. But it is exciting to see some type of grocery stores go into these areas because they need it. And it'd be nice to see some other stuff. They have restaurants there. There's a walkable community now. You literally could buy a home in Summerhill. You could walk to the grocery store. You could walk to restaurants. You can walk to the park that they built. They built this little park over there. They even have a water park where you can go and it's a water park over there, owned by the city of Atlanta, and they have water rides and all this stuff for children and adults to enjoy. The area has grown tremendously. You're going to pay for it too. I've looked at homes in the Summerhill area. I've even looked at vacant lots in the Summerhill area. And then just across the highway is Mechanicsville. That's a whole other story over there. In fact, they just had some shootings over there, and 2 people got shot and killed in Mechanicsville just a few days ago, and that's on the other side of the 75-85 connection. That's the hood over there. But they still got some expensive houses over in Mechanicsville too. It's great to see. I said I wanted to focus on more positive stories, and I thought this would be a great story to illustrate how this community was a food desert, and they worked so hard and finally got a beautiful brand new Publix grocery store. I remember when they first announced this Publix store a couple of years ago, and I said, we're going to see if this thing gets built. And sure enough, there it is, grand opening. So I know that community is excited for people who live in that area. And that is I think Summerhill to me is a safe area. I have friends who live in Summerhill. I've been through Summerhill. It's quiet. You don't have all that riffraff over there. You don't have a lot of apartments, low income apartments that create problems. No housing projects, at least none that I know of over there. And I know that area fairly well because of the bus right up to Grant Park. There are a couple of schools over there. There are some schools there. I don't know. It's just Summerhill to me has always been an area where I felt that it was great, had a great promise that it could be really, really nice. I really wish 2 areas I regret not really buying a home in with Reynoldstown and Summerhill because they were so cheap back in the day. You could have just sat on them and rented them out and you could have had a great investment. That, you know, you could have had a great investment that would have lasted a long time. And I think people sometimes flipping houses sounds great, but y'all, if I had just held on to some of those houses that I owned in the Old Fourth Ward, Edgewood, Eastlake, Kirkwood, and Eastland, if I had just held those houses and rented them versus renovating and flipping, I'd be a multi-millionaire today. Well, it just makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder what would have happened if I had held if I had held those if I had held those houses and just sat on them versus renovating them for resale. It could have been this, oh, my life would be different right now. I'm going to do this YouTube video right now. YouTube? What the hell I got to go on YouTube for? That's ghetto. I don't need that money. Well, knowing my greedy is, I got to go in there and talk about real estate. You know, sometimes I look back at, this on a side note, when I first started this YouTube channel, there was a young man that I knew from the gym, and black gay guy, very closeted DL, or just private about his sexuality. But we were friends. I would hang out at his place occasionally. We would talk. We got along really well. But when I started the YouTube channel 12, 13 years ago, he saw me at the gym. He said, you know, man, I didn't know you were out there like that. You know, I didn't know. I said, man, I don't know if I could, you know, be around you like this, because you're on YouTube and everybody knows you're gay and blah, 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 blah. He was very uncomfortable with my YouTube channel because I was an out black gay man. And this is in 12 years ago. And it kind of put a friction between he and I's friendship, because I was kind of like, what does my YouTube channel have to do with you? Nobody even knows we even friends. So he, I don't know what is going on with this damn thing. Hold on, my phone did something stupid, okay? But anyway, so he distanced himself from me. And then about a year during the middle of the pandemic, this individual starts to do nude videos and open up fans only, or OnlyFans, whatever you call that crap. I'm like, okay. He was doing all this crazy stuff. Crazy. Then he started to have sex parties in his home. Sex parties. So I don't know if his finances took a dip during the pandemic or whatever took place, because he went from all of a sudden being this private individual, no one knew he was gay, to all of a sudden here you are with this Twitter page with all this sexual content, and you're doing all this stuff with these guys, sexual behavior with all these other guys, making sex-filled content on your fans only, and then having people in your home for masturbation parties. Just on the side note, that just stuck in my head because I saw one of his posts today, and I said, boy, we came a long way, didn't we? And I want to do a video about this because I'm not too sure why so many gay men go towards creating sexually filled content and post this stuff on their there's so many things that I firmly believe that people can do as to why so many guys, gay guys in particularly, choose to go down that path to create this sex this pornography is beyond me. And then they can't be making that much money because there's just too many people doing it. So everything you go on Twitter, it's just everybody got the penis out the ass up in the air. Everybody doing some everything on Twitter. And then why am I paying for this when I'm looking right at y'all doing this stuff on Twitter? So why would I subscribe to your fans only, or OnlyFans, or whatever bullshit you want me to subscribe to? I can just see it right here for free on Twitter. I know that's a different subject matter. But anyway, back to the grocery store. I haven't been inside that grocery store yet because it just opened up, but I cannot wait. I'm very curious. Publix has different size stores. They opened up a store a few years ago on off Memorial Drive. It's a shopping center right there. I can't think of the name of that shopping center. It's a brand new Publix right there, not too far from here, in another area. Well, in Reynoldstown. So they opened up that Publix in Reynoldstown. So Reynoldstown has a grocery store now. And a Publix over there. So I admire Publix for going into areas. And Publix has always gone into areas. I remember Publix first came to Atlanta. They opened up a store in the West End. They opened up a store in Stone Mountain. They opened up 2 stores in, Stone Mountain on Memorial Drive. Then they had another store off South Harrison. If I'm correct, both those stores are closed now. The one off South Harrison's closed and one on Memorial Drive is closed. They did go into these areas, though. They went into these black areas, and they still have a store in Lithonia. And there's another Publix that opened recently in a black area. I know they have 2 in Southwest Atlanta. They have one on Cascade Road and one on Camp Creek Parkway. So you have 2 Publix over there. So I admire Publix for coming into the city of Atlanta when they opened up these stores many years ago, and going into diverse areas that other grocery store owners didn't want to go into. However, Publix is a great grocery store. It's one of my favorite grocery stores. I like Kroger better. It's cheaper. But Publix is a clean, nice grocery store. They're based out of Florida. You go to Florida, there's a Publix everywhere. But their prices are a little bit higher. They're a little bit higher. You have to really, when you shop at Publix, you have to look for those 2-for-1 deals. Buy one, get one free. You don't have to buy both of them. If it's a 2-for-1 deal, you can just buy one and get it for half price instead of buying 2 of the same item, 2-for-1. So they're known for those 2-for-1s. So you look through the store and find out what's 2-for-1. And I just buy one of the item. Sometimes I buy 2 if I need those, if I frequently use that stuff. But their eggs are a little bit higher. Their milk is a little bit higher. I mean, their stuff is a little bit more expensive. Their meat is. Now, I will say this. You can pay a little extra for Publix meat, but their meat department is fire. Is it better than Kroger? Depends on the Kroger location. The Kroger up the street, for me, they have a great meat department out here near Smoke Rise. I love this Kroger over here. We have a brand new Publix over here in Smoke Rise, too. It's another Publix that they opened. So the Publix up the street, nice meat department, but this Kroger, that Kroger got it beat. Now, this Kroger up here is a big grocery store, and they have a really nice meat department. Some of the freshest meat that I go there all the time. But they sell out their meat too. It's a predominantly white area because that Kroger actually sits in Gwinnett. So white folks go in and buy up all the meat. So they got the money. So if you get over there, all the meat gone. But the next day they fill it back up with fresh meat over there at that Kroger. So Kroger meat department, it just depends on the location. And also with seafood, it just depends on the location. But it is exciting to see these neighborhoods changing. Summerhill needed that grocery store, desperately needed that grocery store. I think it's great that they're able to finally get us grocery store. But the trash people out here, y'all, I'm gonna have to conclude this video. Let me run out the footage here and talk to these people. I gotta get something out. Today is Thursday, June 22nd, 2020, and I'm out of here.